Good morning, students. So we have completed with the requirement engineering process. Now we are working on, or we are going to refer an example of SRS document, right? So SRS, we know that it is software requirement specification document, which is a deliverable of requirement phase, right? And it has a specific template according to which we are supposed to develop this. Now we have done one of the template in which was a reference from by Somerville that is used academically, that was in IEEE format. Again we are going to discuss another format which is also an IEEE standard, right, and it is used, but yes, it will be customized according to the organization and type of the project. It's just a simple you can say example just to refer how an SRS document is prepared, what all things are included here. So broadly we have seen that SRS consists of three things: functional requirement, user requirements, and goals of implementation, right? Or you can say user and system requirement, which are further divided into functional and non-functional, and constraints applicable on them, right? Now this is a structured template. So I have told you what you mean by a structured template is you have been provided with these titles like problem definition, right? Next, if I see after problem definition, the next is your system requirement specification. See, this is the document. The first one is introduction, which consists of purpose, scope, definitions, acronym and abbreviations, references, overview, right? So similarly, then the second you can say the title is the overall description, which has subheadings like product perspective, software interfaces. This is a structured template. Now in this structured template, you're supposed to fill in the relevant entries. Now look at the example of library management system, a simple library management system, right? How the functionality is being carried out, everyone is aware of it, right? We are known to this particular domain. But what we are supposed to do here is how this document is prepared, that is our main purpose. So see, what is a problem definition? We must also know how to write a problem definition. That is very important. So the library management system is software which automates the job of a librarian. That is true, right? Manual task is reduced and we are trying to automate the work in the library. So what the user can do is he can inquire about the availability of the book by searching the book with the help of different parameters. The user can borrow a book. He must provide the username and the card number. Likewise, I'm not going into much detail because it's a 12-page document, right? Just broadly I'm going to tell what all things are present here, right? Apart from this, by entering the user details and the book details, the user can return the borrowed book. So simply working upon search, issue and returning of the book in this, right? Only 3 modules are being discussed. You'll see later also. Now coming up to this introduction, what is the purpose? The purpose of this SRS is to describe the requirements involved in developing a library management system. So we are talking about the purpose of this document, why we are preparing it. The intended audience is any person who wants to inquire, borrow and return the book. Simply, intended users means end users of this. Scope. The product is titled Library Management System. The product will perform the following tasks like inquiry, borrow and return. Any acronym used is DBMS, that is, we have to prepare a database. References, yes, it has been referred from IEEE standard. This particular standard is being referred. Overview. The SRS contains an analysis of the requirement necessary to help easy design, right? The overall description provides interface requirement for the library management system, product perspective, hardware interfaces, software interfaces, communication interface if required, not mandatory, memory constraints, product functions, user characteristics and any other constraints if applicable. So that is what an overall description consists of. Succeeding pages illustrate the characteristics of typical native user accessing the system along with legal and functional constraints enforced that affects library management system in any fashion, right? So overall description, we have seen what all things will be included. It was discussed in this previous paragraph. Now see how the numbering is done here, right? I'm going to tell each and everything in this. So how you're numbering it? First point is 1.0 and the subheadings are numbered as 1.1, 1.2 and 1.3. Then the second heading is 2.0 which has 2.1 which is further divided. So we'll write it as 2.1.1. If it has more sub parts, so see 1, 2, 3. So this is how you are going to number it. Right, coming up to now the overall description. It's a 2.2. So first we are talking about the product perspective, which discuss the hardware interfaces which are used here, like hard disk is used, we use other output devices like keyboard, mouse and everything. So that is mentioned here. Then in the software we are using backend as MS Access in this particular application for which this SRS is made. So whatever you are going to use in your application or software, you will be using that. Then front end is developed in Visual Basic. Memory constraint is nothing. It can work on minimum memory also. Then operation, it has 3 modes of operation. First one is inquiring about the availability and status of book. By extracting the username and password, the software allows the user to borrow a maximum of 3 books. See, in operation the constraints is given. A maximum of 3 books can be borrowed. By extracting the username and password, the software allows the user to return the borrowed book. Right? Then product functions. Inquire about the availability and status of book. Search the availability of the book. Search the availability of book, okay, based on different parameters like title and author. The software validates the authentic user by extracting their username and password. That is, authentication is also one of the module here. After the validation of the user, software allows the user to borrow a maximum of 3 books based on the number of books which were already borrowed. After validation of the software, software allows the user to return the book which were borrowed. Okay, fine, no problem. Just an authentication is added here which is extra. So we are providing the detailed requirements now. The user characteristics. The intended user of this user need not to have specific knowledge as to what the internal operation of the system is. Right? That is hidden. Thus the end user is at a high level of abstraction that allows easier, faster operation and reduces the knowledge requirement of the end user. So ultimately you can say this is one. User characteristics are what? The non-functional requirements, right? So they don't require inner knowledge, but yes, since they are at higher level of abstraction, right, the work done is accurate and in no time. The product is absolutely user friendly. So that user friendly means usability, right? The product does not expect the user to possess any technical background. Any person who knows to use the mouse and the keyboard can successfully use this product. So ultimately it's all about the characteristics. So you have to elaborate your the characteristics which are applicable to your system. Then the constraint. The user has a unique username and password. There are no option to retrieve a password or username in case it is forgotten or lost. Hence the user is required to remember or store the username and password, right? So for authentication, this is one of the constraints which is being given. Then specific requirements. Logical database requirement. The system should contain databases that include all necessary information for the product to function according to the requirement. These includes relations such as user details and book details. The relations are what? Tables. So you have user table and a book table with relevant details. The user details refer to the information such as name, card number, number of books borrowed, title and the number of author of the books that were borrowed. The book details refer to the information such as title of the book, author, availability status and the number of copies that are available in the library. Right? So this was the information regarding your database. Now front-end description. The library management system is automated library system where the user can search for the books by entering the details of the book or the author name. By entering the username and the password, the software by checking the number of books that are already borrowed enables us to borrow a maximum of 3 books. And by entering the username and password which is unique, the user can return the book. So this is what UI will be developed. Front end means the user interface that you are going to develop with, and this will have these functionalities. Then the back end means your database. The library management system consists of 2 tables here we have seen earlier. the book table and a user table. So one contains the student details such as name, card number, that is a password, card, title and the author of the 3 books which could be borrowed. The book detail consists of the title of the book, number of copies, author and availability status. So ultimately you will be preparing 2 tables here. Data structures, first of all look at the table. The book table, first of all, it consists of these fields. What is the type? Now you know what is DBMS, how these tables are being prepared in SQL, right? And if any constraint is there, you are going to write it. Similarly, student details. So these are the student parameters or the attributes, while their types and constraints are here. So you'll be preparing 2 tables in this particular example. Now, what is a data flow diagram? Now I've told you in SRS document we have to prepare models, right? Different models, not all, that is relevant just to understand the system by this SRS document, what exactly how it is going to functional, right? And you to present your system in a better way. So one of the model that is used here is data flow diagram, DFD, right? So this DFD is going to represent the entire functionality of the library automation system or library management system, right from the initiation, that is user, right, and how the entire processing goes on. This is how this circle or oval represents the process, while these arrows are named arrows. You have seen that in this arrow this update and everything is written. So named arrows represent the data which is moving from one process to another, right? This is a data store, that is a database, right? So this processing goes on. We'll be doing data flow diagram in detail in subsequent lectures also, right? So what does a user do? He enters his registration number, right, which is stored in the database of the user, the first thing, right? Then the further processing could be the sequence has to be maintained here. Okay, he just entered it here, right? Then we have an admin also, just understanding this. Okay, what they are doing here is, administrator is here, he can add, modify, delete records, right? Apart from this admin can display the report also. He can fetch the record from the database. So database is what? Where you can store and retrieve the information, right? Then you can search the book, you can return the book, right, for return, for renewal, for issue, right? So these are lot many things. You know how the processing is being carried out in the library. Maybe this diagram is not much accurate, you have to work upon. First of all, it is represented in a generalized form, right? That is why it is not easy to understand. So we'll see in the data flow diagram, when we'll do this in detail, that the data flow diagram is prepared in levels, right? Different levels of abstractions are there. Normally 3, but yes, it can be extended, and we represent the system in a much better way using that, right? Just for the reference you can look at it. Apart from this, you will be making this data flow diagram in levels only. Then for testing, we prepare a table. This is a test case table. We prepare test cases actually. So the form name, the main menu form. Say you have developed a form, the first page of your application, right? Now what is the input? Menu option, right? From the menu option you select a particular thing. What should be the expected output? Show required form, right? Many options may go, you identified, like you selected an option, so it must show that particular form. What was the actual output? Required form was displayed. So what is the status? Pass or fail? It's pass. So test case is what? You give the certain input, right? And you check whether that functionality is achieved. So we know what is the expected output and what is the actual output that is obtained while you give this input, right? So if these two are same, actual output matches with the expected output, then it is a pass. But if there is a mismatch between actual output and expected output, that means there is something wrong. Might be certain error is there, right? So second form is a membership form. You are a member of library, right? You are going to test this form. Member details are entered. So what should be the expected output? Create new member account. The account must be created. Actual output, new account was created. So it's a pass. So here we have given all the pass conditions. But yes, there is a possibility test cases are where we represent both valid as well as invalid cases. So you will be making invalid cases also. Say you have entered the details, it must create an account. Maybe the account was not created because maybe it's a mismatch, right? Or the member does not exist. That student ID is a pass out ID of a pass out student, right? So it might happen. So you have to represent all these. So these are number of test cases which are being developed. We will be working on test cases also in the testing phase. Now apart from the basic theory in this SRS document, like we are writing all this, we prepare the diagram also, then we also place the snapshot of your system, right? If you are making it. So main menu form looks like this, a library management system which has 4 options here: membership form, issue and return of a book, view book status and exit. The first page looks like this. So what you can do is, instead of making any application of your own, first try to implement this only. Simple, make the pages having these only, right? So just get an idea, or you just understand this and then make your as per the information that you have gathered from here. Then membership form looks like this: name, registration number, gender, right, department, email ID, password, and re-enter the password. So it depends upon you, whatever like fields you want to take. As many functionality you will try and the constraints on that is better for you, right? Then the login form is registration number and a password, and these are the functionalities taken here. Then a issue form, book ID, so you can issue it here. Returning a book, book ID, and all this will be taking place. Book inquiry, if you want to check the status of any book, this is an inquiry form for that. And finally the result. Thus the online library system was implemented using the specific front end and the back end too. Just this was a simple example only, just to understand for the very first time how this SRS document is prepared. Now see, for any real world problem, understand this is a simple document having just 3 functionality in that system, and it took 12 pages. So assume if a real world, a large and a complex system is there and you're supposed to prepare an SRS, it is going to be a very long document, right? But yes, we have to enter each and every detail in this document which your software is going to implement, the diagrams as well as the snapshots if you have prepared it right now. If not, leave at that point, right? At least diagrams must be included here, right? So this is what the task is. You will be preparing an SRS document, say for any system of your choice. If you want library management system also, if you are looking for some other application, you can prepare the SRS for that application also, right? So try preparing this SRS document now onwards. This is the major document which everyone has to prepare. Even if you are going to be coder in future, let's assume, right? Even then, though you are not going to prepare the SRS, but yes, you have to refer this SRS to prepare your code. Or if you are going to be a designer, you have to refer this document. According to this document, you will be preparing your design. If you are going to be a tester, you have to again refer this document to perform testing, because this is the basic reference document that everyone has to refer in order to carry their work. So this becomes most important document. It must be prepared taking care of all the points which are applicable here, right? It serves as a legal document because it is getting signed by both developers and the customers, right? So try to make this. If you have any doubt, just ask me in the later sessions.